All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, it's time for Veterans News, and Hank Whittier is in the studio. Good morning, Hank.
Sounding, isn't it, Larry? I come here so often now.
That's good stuff.
I have no place else to go.
And Terry Brevard is on the line already.
Terry's on. Yeah,
so you know.
Again, we start off every week with casualties, and we do have casualties. So, Terry, good morning.
Terry, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. How are you?
Okay, good morning, yes.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing good, bud. We're doing
Good.
outstanding. Got Dr. Knapp here, who you're going to meet with next week at that meeting. I hope you can still make it with the VA.
Yeah, I plan on being
And kudos to him for reaching out to the local community to have these meetings so we can talk. We appreciate that. So I told him you were coming. So everybody.
Well,
will be
thank you. The veteran issues is always something we got to constantly take a look at.
Yeah, you guys at the Sheriff's Department, particularly you, because I know you're a vet yourself. So, we're just going to kick around communications and how to improve them and how to, what issues we need to be talking about. So I appreciate you coming over representing the Sheriff's Department. Anyway, I know you got a casualty this morning.
Well, the casualties, lucky, we always like calling on these kind of days because, today is one of those rare days that we have no casualties. Okay. And so we want to always make sure we call in and report the fact that we survived a week with no casualties in law enforcement.
All right. Well, that's good news. That's the ones we like to hear. Hey,
yes, it is.
I'll see you next week. Have a safe Memorial Day, buddy.
Thank you, you too. And, if you need anything, y'all call.
Okay. Thanks, Terry.
Bye-bye.
Anybody from the fire department on?
No, sir.
Okay. Gary, you got the list, I believe.
Yes, we have one firefighter, Ted F. Drake. He was a fire crew supervisor for the Wyoming State Forestry Division, and he passed away with 8 years of service on May 17th, 2014.
And you got some Army casualties.
Yes, we do, unfortunately. We have Command Sergeant Major Martin R. Barreras, age 49. He died in Tucson, Arizona, at a medical center from injuries sustained in Afghanistan on May 13th. And we have Specialist Adrian M. Perkins, age 19, of Pine Valley, California. She died of combat-related injuries also on May 17th.
Okay, that it? Anybody local? Okay, let's remember it is Memorial Day weekend and what Memorial Day is all about, and remembrance of those who sacrificed, and it continues to happen. So, but let's not add to the list. Let's make it a nice, safe Memorial Day out there, and take care of yourselves and others too. All right, Larry, if you would, buddy.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. Gary, Gary, I know you got something to talk about.
Yeah, we want to take just a minute to thank our sponsors for bringing us this wonderful program every week, Palm Chevrolet. And you might want to get over to Palm Chevrolet because they got a lot of good deals going on. They got a big inventory of cars and trucks, 0 down. You get to keep the rebates. Palm Chevrolet is located on 2300 Southwest College Road in beautiful Ocala. So get down there as soon as you can and get yourself one of them new trucks. And also, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nurseries. A great place to shop for your gardening needs. They have all kinds of landscaping things. They have plants. They have trees. And, they even guarantee the trees. You can't beat a deal like that. So go see the folks at Bob Wine's. And they're located at 2610 Southeast 38th Street in beautiful Ocala also. And when you go to either one of these places, don't forget to tell them that you heard about them on WOCA Radio during the Veterans News Hour.
Very good. Outstanding. Hey, listen, before we get into Operation Military Kids, and I got Cliff here to talk a little bit about that, one thing, the newspaper did a great job. You were mentioned prominently, and the judge was mentioned prominently in our veterans diversion program. However, they did leave out the volunteers that work every day over there. Matter of fact, they work day and night to make sure that those folks in that program are successful. Hope it was just an oversight by the newspaper, but let me give a lot of thanks to all those folks who work so hard, and there are many of them. I won't mention them by name because there are so many of them, but they really busted, and I'm sorry they missed mentioning that the other day, but those and they work with us at Vets Helping Vets, but they put in hundreds of hours a month to make sure that those veterans are successful in that program. So to the men and women doing that, we appreciate it, guys. Hey, listen, I've got Cliff here from Operation Military Kids, and he's going to talk a few minutes about really what they do and what they're about a little bit, kind of a brief overview. And Cliff, you're out of Gainesville, are you?
I'm actually out of Lakeland. I work down in Lakeland.
Outstanding. Well, welcome to Ocala. We appreciate you coming by. But if you could, just briefly talk a little bit about it and tell us what it's about.
Well, thank you, Hank. As Hank said, I'm Cliff Lewis, State Coordinator for Operation Military Kids. Just a couple of our primary focuses is Operation Military Kids it's a nationwide organization. One of our focuses is to bring military youth together to have them connect and build their own support and friendship network, and that's one of our biggest focuses. We do that through educational, recreational, and social programs. Our biggest one being camps. We have residential summer camps, and we also do weekend and day camps, various types, whether it's money making or cooking or karate camps and horse camps. And then our other primary focus is to actually bridge that gap between the civilian community and the military to help the civilian community understand the trials and tribulations that our military youth are going through. Because, a lot of people understand that our men and women in uniform, the things that they go through, but a lot of people don't think about the kids and the things that they're experiencing with their loved ones being gone. So it's a big program, and it's really amazing that we still get kids in that have no idea there are other military youth out there that are just like them, and then we bring them together and they form that bond and that support network, and it's really a great organization.
Yeah, we weren't that familiar with it until about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Carol came down and I think it was Carrie also.
Yes, Carrie from
University of Florida, and kind of familiarized us with it, what it was about. And you're right. Sometimes we think about the warrior, but we forget that the warrior's got a family and children and all the stress and tribulations that they go through. While she was here, she made us aware that there was a little bit of a shortfall in the, I guess Carol's good at that, right?
Oh, Carol's
very good at that. Anyway, there was a shortfall here in Marion County, and some of the other programs about having enough dollars to make sure that those kids could get to camp and could share their experience and get some help, knowing that they're not alone and people do care. So thanks to our friend Donnie Harrison, the folks at Golden Ocala, and Harley Davison here in Ocala and Citrus County. We all kind of chipped in, Vets Helping Vets, and we're able to come up with a little bit of money, and this is the good part of what we talk about sometimes. So when you do contribute to Vets Helping Vets, and besides helping directly with some of the veterans we help out, we like to help the families too, and particularly the children. So again, thanks to Golden Ocala, Harley Davison, and all you other folks who contribute. We're able to do a little presentation this morning. I guess we're going to take a few pictures. And Donnie, you want to sit in here with me and get a picture taken with, maybe you don't want to be seen with him, I don't know. But
Well, the last time I had a picture taken with you was down the police station.
it was, yeah. But
Still hanging out, too.
you were the one that arrested, not me. But anyway, listen, on behalf of all those organizations, Golden Ocala, Harley Davidson here in Ocala, and Vets Helping Vets, I want to go ahead and present you with a check this morning. And it's in the amount of $6,000.
Wow.
So hopefully that will be able to get a few of our children and our kids of military veterans to camp.
Oh, it absolutely will.
You can fill in for us while we're...
Wow, that's great. That's good. A little bit of applause there, right? $6,000. That's a pretty good contribution. Wow. Wow.
I kind of left Sergeant Henry out of this, too. And I guess your kids have actually participated in the program, right?
Yes, they have. They've been actually doing it since, I got a 22-year-old. He's been doing it since he was 12.
Outstanding. Very good. Well, again, it's a great program. They do a lot of good stuff. Again, just another indication of where, when you give, whether it's a golf tournament you give out or a fundraiser or it's Harley Davidson, where your money goes, that it doesn't go for administrative costs, it goes to help veterans, families of veterans, and I'm particularly pleased this time it goes to help the children of veterans. So.
Oh, absolutely. I can absolutely tell you this 46 kids are going to be extremely happy that they're going to be able to, and we call it fantastically unbelievable, never going to forget it fun, and that's the week that we provide. Not only do they have fun, but we're teaching them life skills that they can take back home, to build on leadership and teamwork and confidence and commitment and things like that.
Outstanding. And we can get a hold of you. You got a phone number we can get you, because I'm sure you may have other folks out there that want to, write a check, and tell us where your camp is too.
Oh, absolutely. My phone number is 863-519-1068, and I work out of the County Extension Office in Bartow. Our camps this year, we have a youth camp at Camp Ocala, which is over in Altoona, and that's going to be the 23rd through the 27th of June. And then we turn right around the 8th through the 12th of July down at Camp Cloverleaf, which is in Lake Placid, just a little bit south of Sebring. And unfortunately, and talking about money, we weren't able to do a camp at Camp Tempucci up in Niceville this year because we did not get the money that we needed. And then another camp we do is our senior camp, which is a great camp for teens, which is up at Camp Cherry Lake in Madison, Florida.
Well, listen, why don't you come back in here again and talk about your specific needs, and maybe we can all get together and help you out again, because it's something worthwhile doing, and we certainly like to partnership with folks like you to get some more kids to camp and make that a success. So let's do it. And I hope we're all going to, a lot of us, I guess, are going to go out there on some of the dates, and I know you do some flag ceremonies and whatnot, and we're anxious to see that.
We should thank Sergeant Henry for bringing this in, bringing it up to our attention, because we weren't aware of this.
No, he came in. Of course, he twisted my arm and yours too. But he knows all those military moves. He didn't have to twist it too hard. But again, he's another one of those unsung heroes in the community. Does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. But it's about a cooperation. It's about partnership for a community that tries to do the right thing and helping children and helping children of veterans. I can't think of anything better than that. So again, I'm glad you came in. You're welcome to hang around. Dr. Knapp from the VA here has got a few things he wants to talk about this morning. Let me tell you a couple of people. Linda, I understand your wife is feeling better.
Yes.
Gradually.
She's
and
home.
and so get better, Linda. And then also our friend John Dinkins is still feeling pretty poorly, but slow recovery. And Eugene Poole is still on the mend. So guys, get better. We're looking forward to seeing you again. Dr. Knapp, let me again compliment you. Again, you have that ability and the personality to reach out to the community. And I know we're having a big meeting next week to talk about issues that I think we're going to try to solve here locally with veterans and the VA. And you're sort of an example. I think people can look at this local VA and you and learn something about communication and open communication, so we appreciate that. But today, I guess you want to talk about a couple of issues that probably everybody at the table has but me, which is, mental health, but
Yeah, we're not talking about STDs today. But thank you very much, Hank. And again, I just want to say it makes me real nervous when Hank is saying good things about me. So I did want to, again, to follow up what Hank said, I do want to congratulate everyone involved with the Veteran Treatment Court with that nice article we had in the newspaper. There's so many people involved, and I'm sure leaving out the mentors who do a terrific job was not done on purpose. But congratulations to the mentors. And next week on Wednesday, May 28th at 11:30, we're going to assemble a lot of our community partners, Vets Helping Vets, VSO, Vet Center, at the Cascades, and we hope to coordinate some of our mission. Our mission at the Cascades is to serve and provide medical care, and we want to make sure that we're coordinating with all our partners in the community. But today what I thought I would do was talk a little bit about lung disease. And as we go around the community, we get asked a lot of questions. I'm going to talk a little bit about COPD, but one of the hot topics I was asked about at the Ritz Hotel on Monday was about MERS, or Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, because that's been in the newspaper. And the real interesting thing about it is, if you remember SARS about 7 years ago, this is similar and actually leads me into talking about influenza. And I think I had mentioned on the radio in the last couple months of all the deaths we've had locally from H1N1. So maybe by giving you some information today, I can go ahead and save your life. But let me talk to you about MERS. MERS is a coronavirus, so it's not an influenza virus. It started in the Middle East in 2012 on the Arabian Peninsula. And in Saudi Arabia in the last year, they've had 600 cases, and the fatality rate is very high. The SARS virus was a coronavirus as well, and if you remember, the mortality rate of that was very high as well. Of interest, there's been 2 pockets of MERS disease in our country. One is an Indiana doctor who was working in Saudi Arabia, and he made the newspaper last weekend. And he was there for 6 weeks and just came back to Indiana. And he survived, but it was thought that he actually gave it to another individual who survived as well, which is good. They can detect it by special testing that they send to the CDC. And if you ever want to do something really interesting and learn a lot, I was on the CDC website last night, and all you type in on your computer is CDC, and you will come up with a plethora of information, and you'll just be amazed at what the federal government has. And the second pocket of MERS was in Orlando, and we get the Orlando news every night, and there were several residents who came back from Saudi Arabia, and they've survived. So this is not a very highly contagious disease, but the question comes up, if I'm in the clinic, how do we diagnose it? How do you know if you have it? Well, the symptoms of influenza are fever, cough, and shortness of breath. And if you remember in 2003, 4, and 5, the other criteria was that you had to be exposed to someone in China, preferably in southern China or come back from Beijing. So that was a criteria. But if you remember in the northern hemisphere, one of the big entry points from China was Toronto. So they expanded that to individuals that had a fever, influenza symptoms, and had been exposed to some of these cities where there was a high incidence. The other interesting thing is, this is May, so this isn't flu season. We're not in flu season here. Flu season in Ocala is probably somewhere between November and March. That's our big hits for flu season, although we do have some influenza going through the country right now. So if we see someone in the office, it's 90 degrees outside, and they have a fever, cough, shortness of breath, you kind of wonder what they have. And of course, when we question them, we wonder, have they had exposure to anything unusual? So this is occurring in the summer where we shouldn't have influenza. But the real interesting thing is, this leads me into talking about something that's taken the life of many, many young people over the last year, and that's the H1N1. And of interest, Hank, it's not the seniors, people that are over the age of 65, that are dying of H1N1 in our country. It's younger people between the ages of 40 and 50. So the question is, why is that happening? And I know that Monroe Hospital was in the newspaper over the winter, and they had some deaths from H1N1, and Shands Hospital in Gainesville had similar. I estimate there's probably a couple of dozen deaths. So why would it not be the older people, that have all kinds of medical problems like me, but it would be people that are a little bit younger? And the answer to the question is, us older people have been exposed over the last 20, 30 years to multiple influenza viruses, and we have some immunity. Also, in the olden days, it was only the people over the age of 65 that got flu shots. Because of what's going on with H1N1, the government now has come out and said that we vaccinate everybody. So if you come to our clinic and you're 40 years old and it's flu season, we want to vaccinate you. And we've done that in the last couple of years. And 90% of the people that have been in the hospitals, that, from my reading of the Ocala Star Banner, that have been severely ill from H1N1 in the last 12 months were individuals that were not vaccinated. So when we get into our flu season in September, October, we start vaccinating people, we're going to come back and really push our vaccinations.
Very good.
The VA really leads the whole country, all the healthcare systems in vaccinations, for several reasons. One, we're computerized, and I showed one of the young men who was in the office yesterday. I can pull up his vaccination record. Coming from the military, you know how extensive that is. I can pull up his vaccination record in a second. And then secondly, some of the vaccinations are extraordinarily expensive, like shingles vaccine, which costs $200 to $300, and at the VA, they're free. So it's a big advantage coming to the VA clinics and getting your health care at the VA.
Yeah, and you do a good job over there. This particular clinic, again, as we've talked about, really does a superior job, really does. Cliff, before we sign off, give us that phone number again and how folks can get a hold of you, or if there's something. There's nobody local other than Carol and the folks up at UF, and
That's it, yeah.
and then get a hold of you. So give us your number again, and how if they're interested in finding out more about the program, or hopefully write a check.
Absolutely.
How do we get a hold of you?
Absolutely. Please call me it's 863-519-1068, and my email is Sergeant Major Lewis, that's SGM Lewis, at uniformfranklimaufl.edu.
Sergeant Major, United States Army?
That's correct. Retired 29 years, Hoyle.
You're not responsible for Sergeant Henry at the end. You weren't his command sergeant major by any chance?
Nah.
Because he kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit,
He's on that recruiting trail, that easy job.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get it made. Hey, listen, good program. Stay in touch with us. We want to work with you and try to help you out in the future as well. Anybody have anything local or anything they want to talk about? Sergeant Henry, you got anything you want to talk? No? You're waving at me. That doesn't work on the radio. You can say yes or no, but...
I'm fine.
Okay. Don, briefly, nothing?
We had a contact at Vets Helping Vets about employment. And this gentleman has a business that he established here in Ocala, but he's looking for particularly veterans.
Yeah, he's looking for warehouse work,
Warehouse
but
work.
pretty demanding. Also, I had a call from an attorney who's looking for a secretary. He doesn't have to have legal experience, but needs to know computer work and obviously know how to do letters and that kind of thing. You got a quick phone call, and then we got to get out of here.
Yes, sir. Good morning. You're on the air with Hank.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Hank. It's Mark Hankins, the former Marine. Good morning, sir. Just wanted to let the listeners know we may have a combat veteran from Vietnam running for president, happens to be a fellow Marine and a liberal Democrat like myself, James Webb, Under Secretary of State of Affairs, Naval Affairs under Ronald Reagan.
I hadn't seen that. Did he announce?
Good morning, guys.
Did he announce, Mark? Yeah. Mark, did he already announce? He's gone. All right. Well, Mark, you're not, that former thing really doesn't work. You are, you will be, and even after death, you know what happens. You got to stay on duty. So Yeah, I didn't hear that about Webb. So, but it is a political season, and a lot of folks are going to come out of the woodwork. Gary, Palm Chevrolet and
Memorial
Bob
Day
Lyons.
weekend, good time to get down there and get you a new car or a new truck on State Road 200 in beautiful Ocala. And also, the weather's beautiful out there. Good time to plant, get your landscaping needs at Bob Lyons Camellia Garden and Nursery, located at 2610 Southeast 38th Avenue. And don't forget to tell them you heard about it during the Veterans News Hour on WOCA Radio.
Hey, all you folks who contribute out there, we really, really appreciate it. A good example of what happened here today. Cliff, thank you for what you're doing, but thank you for your service in the United States Army, too. We appreciate that. Outstanding service. So, as I tell you every week, folks, thank you for your service, and always God bless America, everybody.
To the oceans white with foam, God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian